There are people around us, maybe their practice are not really good, but I see people around me, though my own practice is not that great, but I can definitely feel that people have different goals. Doesn't matter how wonderful their goals are. That's it. Today there was a there was someone telling me, saying that, well, I've been studying philosophy, but I think birth, old age, sickness is the most fair, the most justice of all. I said, okay, there are some teachings in philosophy, but I think in Buddhism there's much deeper teachings. He said, okay, maybe I'll read some sutras. I said, okay, that's better. So that's the first one, to generate renunciation. Second is to use suffering to train in taking refuge. Say to yourself, life after life, again and again, we're continuously plagued by these kinds of fears. And the one and only protection that can never fail us is the precious guide, the Buddha, the precious path, the Dharma, and the precious companion. On the way, the Sangha, the three jewels. So it is to them that I must rely entirely. Whatever happens, I will never renounce them. Let this become a firm conviction and train in practice taking refuge. If we have never learned the sutra of remembering the three jewels at all times, or studied the merits of the three jewels, you probably would just think that this is a way of saying it, or it's just on words. It's very vague. But after really studied or know the merit of the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, you will definitely generate faith and confidence to the three jewels. Potsdam Rinpoche gave a teaching on taking refuge in the three jewels. I really felt it was such a wonderful teaching. And that teaching were translated by people across the world into, I think, over a dozen of languages. And people translated it voluntarily because they felt it was very beneficial. And it's quite wonderful that people from different countries felt that that teaching has a profound meaning, and maybe everyone has different feelings after reading it. When truly contemplating on the three jewels, you will feel that whomsoever in the samsara, whenever they encounter unfortunate events, as long as they rely on the three jewels, they will experience the unfathomable strength that comes from the three jewels. Just as it is stated in the sutra, as long as you can generate a great faith, then whatever suffering that has accumulated for thousands and millions of eons will be eradicated. So all the suffering coming through this world that happens in this human world can also be eradicated by relying upon the strength of the three jewels. In the sutra of the woman who attained unsullied, said that there is no other where to go than the three jewels, that is Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So you should only seek protection from the three, because the sentient beings who can save you, who can protect you, are still suffering from the samsara, still suffering from the different kinds of conditions and their own karma. But the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, the Buddha who is of great compassion, the genuine Dharma, definitely have such power to lead us out, to guide us out of the ocean of suffering. In the sutra requested by Manjushri, stated that if you rely upon the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, as well as the Four Noble Truths, you will be able to arrive at a safe place that is devoid of all suffering and attain liberation. In such a way, you will be able to resolve all your problems. So by taking refuge in the Three Jewels, many different sufferings will be resolved. Don't even talk about the suffering not even mentioning the suffering in samsara, the suffering inside our human realm, such as moodiness, irritation, sadness, depression. After taking refuge in the Three Jewels, anything happens in this world doesn't make you feel lousy anymore. You will have a rather very happy mentality to face anything happens in our life. From many people's experience, this is a story of many people's true experience. Whenever we encounter any kind of obstacles, if we can practice taking refuge in such a way, the suffering will dissipate. You can chant the four refuge. I do that. Whatever suffering I encounter, whatever obstacles, adversities I encounter, I would sit and I would then devotedly chant this, and in such a way, usually some miracles or some magic would happen, and the result would be different. So whatever difficulties and problems you encounter, do not give up on the Three Jewels, especially after taking refuge in the Three Jewels. Many people, after taking refuge in the Three Jewels, whatever things they face, people would feel that they have a place to rely on. Even if their families and friends give up on them, they still feel they have a place to take refuge. They have a place to rely. I did not get ordained because of suffering. Many journalists asked me, why did you get refuge? You were 23 only. It must be some problems happening in your life. I said, no, there was no problem. I only had genuine faith in the Three Jewels, because at the time, not many people understood me. It was a very different time. But at that time, my teacher and colleagues and my classmates, my families felt that it was not the right choice. But only after I contemplated and studied the Dharma, the people at the time who cut me out of their life started to talk to me again, and started to have a better attitude towards me. So if your view is right, your actions are right, then whomsoever around you, let it be people or non-human beings, will revere you. Therefore, take refuge is really important. That is the right choice to make. Initially I wanted to give teaching on the next one, Today I didn't really prepare the lesson. I went out, so maybe we'll stop here today. It's a little bit better than how I imagined, because at the beginning of class I thought to myself, I have nothing to teach today. But it turned out to be better than I thought. Today, I think many of you, after reading the news, you probably understand that you should wear your masks, don't get out, try your best to stay home and practice and listen to the Dharma. There are cities that is probably more severe, not very optimistic, but we don't have to panic, we don't have to worry. Anyhow, this is really the collective karma that came to fruition. It's very difficult to control, but we should at least try to protect ourselves. Because pandemic in the relative world is very scary, can be very scary, especially according to the official data. There are over 100,000 people who died because of it. We don't really know what's going to happen later. Some specialists say this pandemic, this disease this virus would stay with human beings, will coexist with us, and maybe eventually people will die with the masks on their face. On one hand, samsara is full of suffering, but on the other hand, this is just really the nature of samsara. It's only that we've been really naive before the pandemic. But I think through the pandemic this time, many people had developed deeper contemplation. Even for the practitioners who don't practice diligently, they had some very genuine insights about birth, old age, sickness, and death. So that is why we need to dedicate our merit with the King Samantabhadra's aspiration, because so many people need the blessings. On the other hand, it is because the beings had already created so many negative karma. Eventually, the nature will combat, or eventually the karma will will come to its fruition. So no matter what, we should try to dedicate all of our virtuous root with kindness to everyone. So let's chant the King Samantabhadra's the aspiration and the Vajra armor mantra, as well as the other Pamasambhava's mantra. This is quite important. So I really hope that you can chant it with great diligence. Later on, if you're chanting it or not, it depends. So we have to protect ourselves with mantras as well as with relative protections. This is quite important. And we'll stop here today.
Chibun tsune drova